There's a special kind of electricity that runs through you when a new idea takes hold. A spark that lights up your mind. It makes your heart race with possibility. Maybe it's a dream you've carried quietly for years. Or maybe it's a goal that just landed in your lap, unexpected and thrilling. In that moment, it feels like you're standing on the edge of something big, something that could change your life. And what's the first thing you want to do? Tell someone, anyone, everyone. You want to shout it from the rooftops, to see the excitement reflected in someone else's eyes, to feel that rush of validation and support. But have you ever noticed what happens next? You share your dream, your next big move, and suddenly the energy shifts. Maybe someone raises an eyebrow or offers a word of caution. Maybe they just don't get it. And slowly, that spark inside you starts to dim. Why does this happen? Why does sharing our dreams sometimes make them feel smaller, less possible? What if your next move was the one that changed everything? What if the secret to success isn't in telling the world, but in quietly building your own? Meet Arjun, a university student with a mind that never stops racing and a heart full of ambition. He fills notebooks with ideas, business ventures, creative projects, plans to travel the world. Every morning, he wakes up with a sense of purpose, convinced he's meant for something more than the ordinary. His friends call him a dreamer, and he wears the label proudly. One evening, after weeks of late-night brainstorming, Arjun lands on an idea he believes could change his life. A mobile app that could help students manage their time and mental health. The excitement is almost too much to contain. He can't wait to share it with his closest friends and family, imagining their faces lighting up with pride and encouragement. With innocence and hope, Arjun gathers everyone around and pours his heart out, describing every detail. For a moment, he feels invincible, buoyed by the belief that his passion will be contagious. But as he looks around the room, he notices something he didn't expect. A flicker of doubt in their eyes, a hesitant smile, a question that lingers in the air. Reality, it seems, is more complicated than dreams. At first, Arjun tries to brush off the awkward silence that follows his announcement. But as the days go by, the ripple effect of his openness becomes impossible to ignore. His best friend, who usually cheers him on, suddenly seems distant, making jokes about another one of Arjun's big plans. His older cousin, who's always been practical, questions whether Arjun has the skills or resources to pull it off. Even his parents, who love him dearly, gently suggest he focus on his studies instead of chasing distractions. The comments start small, but they add up. A sarcastic remark here, a doubtful glance there. Soon, Arjun finds himself second-guessing every detail of his idea. He starts to wonder if maybe they're right. Maybe he's aiming too high. Maybe he's not ready. The excitement that once fueled him now feels like a distant memory, replaced by a heavy sense of self-doubt. Worse still, Arjun notices a subtle shift in his relationships. One friend, who had always seemed supportive, suddenly starts working on a similar project, barely acknowledging where the inspiration came from. Another begins to avoid him, as if his ambition is somehow threatening. The more Arjun tries to explain his vision, the more isolated he feels. The pain of negative feedback cuts deeper than he expected. What began as a moment of hope has turned into confusion. Arjun's motivation fades, replaced by a quiet ache, a longing for the excitement he once felt, and a growing fear that maybe, just maybe, he should have kept his dreams to himself. Feeling the sting of disappointment, Arjun begins to pull back from the people he once confided in. He spends more time alone, replaying conversations in his mind, searching for where things went off track. The excitement that once propelled him forward now feels like a distant echo, replaced by a quiet, persistent doubt. He wonders if he was foolish to believe that everyone would understand or even care about his dreams. As Arjun withdraws, he starts to notice something he hadn't seen before. There are classmates and acquaintances who seem to move quietly, never boasting about their plans. Yet, somehow, they're the ones who suddenly appear with impressive results, landing internships, launching projects, achieving goals that seemed out of reach. They don't talk much about what they're working on, but when they do, it's already done. A question begins to form in Arjun's mind, persistent and sharp. What are they doing differently? Why does their progress seem so effortless, so protected from the doubts and distractions that have weighed him down? In the silence of his own reflection, Arjun starts to realize that maybe, just maybe, there's power in keeping some things to himself. One evening, as Arjun scrolls through articles and videos in search of inspiration, he stumbles upon stories of people he admires. Many of them chose to keep their plans private until they were ready to reveal their work to the world. They spoke about the freedom that comes from working in silence, the clarity that grows when you're not distracted by outside opinions. Arjun feels a spark of hope flicker inside him. He realizes that his old habit of sharing every idea was rooted in a need for validation, but it often left him vulnerable to doubt and discouragement. Maybe, he thinks, it's time to try something different. Instead of announcing his next move, he decides to quietly focus on building it. He sets clear goals, creates a timeline, and commits to working in the background, letting his actions speak for themselves. This new approach feels strange at first, almost lonely, but also empowering. Arjun finds himself less distracted, more focused, and surprisingly, more motivated. The contrast is striking. Where once he sought approval, now he seeks progress. He begins to understand that discretion isn't about secrecy. It's about protecting his dreams until they're strong enough to stand on their own. Arjun's days begin to take on a new rhythm. Without the pressure to update others or defend his ideas, he finds himself able to dive deeper into his work. Early mornings are spent sketching out wireframes for his app, afternoons researching mental health resources, and evenings coding quietly in his room. The silence that once felt heavy now becomes a sanctuary, a space where his ideas can breathe and grow without interference. Of course, the journey isn't without its challenges. There are moments when Arjun hits roadblocks, bugs in his code, doubts about his design, the occasional urge to reach out for reassurance. But each time he's tempted to share his struggles or seek validation, he reminds himself of his new commitment. Instead of looking outward, he turns inward, trusting his instincts and problem-solving skills. He learns to celebrate small victories privately, a feature that finally works. setbacks, a design that feels just right, a late-night breakthrough that brings him closer to his goal. As weeks turn into months, Arjun notices a subtle but powerful shift within himself. The uncertainty that once clouded his mind begins to clear, replaced by a quiet confidence. He no longer needs applause to feel proud of his progress. The work itself becomes its own reward, and the satisfaction of overcoming obstacles in silence feels richer than any praise. Time passes, and the app slowly takes shape. Arjun's focus sharpens, his skills improve, and his vision becomes more refined. He realizes that by building in silence, he's not just protecting his dream, he's strengthening it. Each step forward is a testament to his resilience and growth. Proof that sometimes the most powerful progress happens when no one else is watching. Almost 4 months later, Arjun pressed publish on his app. He did not make an announcement. He did not post it to his story. He did not send it to the group chat. He closed his laptop, made himself a cup of tea, and went to bed. He told nobody. For 3 days, nothing happened. Then a second-year student shared it in the university's study group. Then another. By the end of the week, 2,000 students had downloaded it. And then people started coming up to him in the cafeteria, in lectures, in the library. Wait, you made this? It was the same people who had smiled awkwardly 6 months earlier. The same friend who had joked about your crazy ideas. The cousin who told him to focus on his exams. Every single one of them looked at him with something they had never shown him before. Respect and curiosity. Nobody said, "I believed in you." Nobody said, "I knew you could do it." They only asked, "How did you do this? Why didn't you tell anyone?" Arjun just smiled. He did not say, "I told you so." He did not remind them of what they had said. He did not need to. The work had already done all the talking. In that moment, he understood. You do not have to announce your departure. You only have to arrive. And when you arrive, nobody will care that you never said you were coming. They will only notice that you are here. Looking back, Arjun realizes how much he's grown, not just as a creator, but as a person. He understands now that not everyone who listens to your dreams is rooting for you. Some people, even those closest to you, carry their own doubts, fears, or insecurities. Sometimes their words of caution are more about their own limitations than yours. And sometimes sharing too soon can expose your dreams to winds that aren't meant to help them grow. Arjun's journey taught him that it's not about shutting people out, but about choosing wisely who you let into your inner circle. It's about protecting your dreams while they're still fragile, nurturing them until they're strong enough to stand on their own. He learned that actions truly do speak louder than words, and that the quiet satisfaction of building something meaningful far outweighs the fleeting thrill of early applause. He wants others to know you don't owe the world an explanation for every step you take. Let your progress be your proof. Trust yourself enough to move in silence, and let your results speak for you. In the end, the people who matter will see your light. No announcement necessary. So, what can you do to protect your next move and give your dreams the best chance to grow? Start by being intentional about who you share your plans with. Trust is earned, not given freely. Look for people who celebrate your wins without jealousy, who offer honest feedback without discouraging your ambition, and who keep your confidence as carefully as their own. If you're not sure, it's okay to keep your plans to yourself. Set clear boundaries for yourself. Not every idea needs to be discussed at the dinner table or posted online. Give yourself permission to work quietly, to nurture your goals in private, and to enjoy the process without outside pressure. Remember, your journey is yours alone, and you don't need validation from everyone to move forward. Stay focused on your personal growth. Use your energy to build, learn, and improve, rather than seeking approval. When challenges come, remind yourself that setbacks are part of the process, not a reason to give up or broadcast your doubts. Apply these lessons in your own life. Protect your next move, trust your instincts, and let your results speak for themselves. You'll be amazed at what you can achieve when you move in silence. Now, it's your turn. Imagine what you could achieve if you moved in silence. If you let your actions, not your words, do the talking. What if your next big idea, your next bold step, was protected from doubt and negativity, allowed to grow strong before the world ever saw it? The power is in your hands. You don't have to announce every move. You don't have to seek permission or approval. You just have to believe in yourself enough to keep building, even when no one is watching. So here's the challenge. Keep your next move private. Work on it quietly. Let your progress surprise the people who doubted you and inspire those who believed in you. Trust that your journey is unfolding exactly as it should, and that your results will speak louder than any announcement ever could. If this story resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever experienced the power of moving in silence? What dreams are you working on right now? Let's support each other in this journey. And if you want more inspiration and practical life lessons, don't forget to subscribe. Remember your move, your power. The world will notice when you're ready.